Boom! That was probably the quickest week that you've ever experienced. Without further ado, let's resume. Okay, so big money, small money, old school, new school, the DMCA is for intellectual property, period. But obviously there are issues. How do we go about fixing the DMCA? Well, anyone with a good answer for this, I'm sure will be a very popular person because truthfully, that's the billion-dollar question at the moment. On one side, you have creators who want to be able to use other people's work to strengthen their own. And on the other side, you have creators who want the right benefits from others that use their work. But what makes it hard is that both sides are pretty much the exact same. You have creators that will use other people's work in their work, but then claim that entire work as their own work that other people must then credit them for. I mean, just have a look at this visual. It gets pretty confusing very fast. So here's a little perspective. My friend Swankybox runs a video game homage channel that uses a lot of copyrighted video game footage. But does that mean that anyone can use his video game footage without crediting him? Well, that actually happened to him, and this is what he has to say about it.
And this is the issue I had with the person who had taken my footage. I wasn't mad. I mean, it's game footage. But the thing was, and I went to this. It's like if someone built an awesome statue in a park, some master artisan or something made this glorious statue, and I took a photo of the statue, a really nice photo of it. I don't own the statue in any way, shape, or form. But I did put work towards capturing the statue. It's, my specific artistic vision, my editing, all that stuff changed the mood of the statue. I mean, lighting and all that stuff, all that changes things. That's sort of why I had an issue with this YouTube footage, was because this was my artistic take on that game footage. I'm not just, the thing is, for my videos, I don't just walk around with a character and just be like, typical camera. I usually get, have used the first person view all the time through the cameras or through the character's point of view and treat it like a documentary. So I'm actually getting shots. I have a shot list, like I need a shot of this and this and that. And that's why I had an issue with it, because he wasn't taking anything that was copyrighted to me, but he was taking my work and passing it off on his own. And I think that's what people don't get. And that was a hard battle, because if you look at the comments on my one video, people were like, what's game footage? I don't see the issue. And they're not understanding that the issue isn't the game footage. That is just the medium. It's the work behind whatever it is that you do. That's the issue.
Swanky makes some great points, and I'm on his side on this one. His artistic vision and the way that he frames his video game footage and glues it all together with the narrative should be copyrightable. Fun fact for those of you who don't know, you don't have to do anything special to have your work protected by copyright. Copyright.gov states, your work is under copyright protection the moment it is created and brought into a tangible form. So, just a little food for thought. And if you want to copyright claim other videos for using his work, he should have all rights to do so. But as you should all know by this point in the episode, it's not that simple. Now, there are many suggested ways to go about fixing these issues, but I just want to brush over some of the popular ones, which are go to YouTube competitors, build a different model YouTube, and freeze the monetization and copyright claims. Going to competitors likely won't happen anytime soon because, simply put, no one has a blueprint as good as YouTube does right now. Vimeo, Dailymotion, Facebook, you name it. They just can't compete with YouTube's framework. Now, I'm not saying that a company like Facebook can't change that, but a lot of creators ironically don't like Facebook due to their lack of DMCA action. I'm telling you, this whole thing is a mess. So for now, that's out. But what about creating a different model YouTube? Now, I'm pulling this straight from Eli the Computer Guy's suggestion. He suggested an iTunes type of YouTube that will automatically download new videos whenever they're posted. And this actually sounds like a really cool idea. However, that won't change anything unless the owner of this new site plans to host their servers in the middle of the Northern Sea like Haven Code to escape government laws. That footage is from a recent documentary by Norton about private servers, and I urge you all to check it out because it's pretty crazy and it shows you just how deeply connected this topic is. Also, Norton, please don't claim my episode. And good documentary, by the way. Alright, back on topic. Because remember, Viacom sued YouTube for $1 billion. What would stop Viacom from suing this news site that doesn't want to follow the DMCA, all because little Jake Jr. uploaded the whole season of Teen Mom 12 to share with his friends that can't watch it? Do YouTube then either tries to fight the $1 billion lawsuit or give in and pretty much create a new YouTube with no DMCA progress? Again, the DMCA is much bigger than YouTube. The last solution is to have YouTube hold the cash until a winner is decided, and honestly, I think this is probably the best first step, but Mr. Ryan gives a very curious counter perspective.
I handle this often where we get claims removed. A lot of time when a claim is removed, it doesn't mean that the video was right. It means that we worked out a settlement where we'll pay you X, but you take your claim off, or we'll do this and you take your claim off. Whatever, there's a million reasons why they might remove their claim. That doesn't mean they were wrong. And I think maybe because of that, that's why YouTube doesn't play ball with the whole fix it and we'll pay you issue. Otherwise, that might be part of the settlements where, look how many views we just got, take your claim off and we'll give you half of that. YouTube probably doesn't want to play ball with that, and because they don't want to encourage infringement. And that would be a sensible argument on their part.
That's a real issue for YouTube to be worried about. If YouTube is holding the cash and the result of the case is infringement, does that make YouTube liable? And what about the liability on settlement cases? And branching off Mr. Ryan's points, does YouTube now have to handle court orders to reward the winners? Honestly, ask yourself, what gain does YouTube have for trying to bend the copyright claim system into a gray area? Oh, okay. On April 28, 2016, coincidentally the same day that I released part 2, YouTube announced this. We're developing a new solution that will allow videos to earn revenue while a content ID claim is being disputed, which is a pretty big deal. Now, all the info that you just got about us being not sure, it's still kind of up in the air. One thing that I want to make really clear about this announcement, its impact will mostly be on those who make false claims. All that's really changing is that if you, the creator, believe that someone is falsely claiming your video, then you can dispute it and you won't lose any money if you win. However, this doesn't mean that you'll reach a quicker solution. You might still have to go through the entire court process just to decide who won. And back to the curiosities, will YouTube then need a court order to prove who won? Will some claimants use that pooled cash as some sort of settlement? Either way, this was only an announcement on what they're developing. It hasn't been released yet, so we still have to wait and see how it really works. But at any rate, it without a doubt is one step forward. Now, let's finish off this episode. Truthfully, the real solution seems to be to pay for proper licensing. Unfortunately, us, the YouTube community, is late to the game of intellectual property, and because of that, we're expected to play by the rules that are already set in place. And though I understand that side of things, for creators like my friend Swankybox to exist, or hell, even myself, we'd have to pay for a bunch of different licensing to please all featured creators. And unless you're making millions of views a month, that return won't be worth it if you could even afford it. I can think of a bunch of different creators that I think add value to the world and might no longer be able to do that if they had to pay for a bunch of different licensing. It's a really tough battle. And I know what some of you guys are probably saying. Oh, well, the fair use law states that if it's for criticism, parody, commentary, then you don't need a license. See, the issue with the fair use law is that it tries to please all corners, and because of that, it creates contradictions. Not to mention, define a criticism, define a parody. What is a commentary? No matter what your answer is, that is your own interpretation. The Rastafarian fair use casework from earlier was defended by saying it's a commentary on the commercialization of Rastafarian culture. And when I hear that, I get it. Sure, I think there are other ways that you could express that commentary, but all that is my own personal interpretation on art. And that's why having a law trying to determine art is very hard to solve. So, do we just leave the DMCA as it is? Well, here is my conclusion. I want to start by making this very clear. I do not have all the answers. The goal of this two-part episode was to try and put the focus in the right direction. But before YouTube, licensing was a great way for any creator to gain from their work and also keep in control who can and can't use it. But with the rise of YouTube, that way of intellectual property is being devalued. Here in small money land YouTube, the way that we pay for licensing is pretty much a simple link in the description. Yeah, I used your work, but I also credited you in the description. Don't you see it? It's there. What's the problem? Which to some, that's just disrespectful. But regardless of your point of view, intellectual property is going through a very interesting change that is unseen throughout history. A sea of creators are popping up left and right, adding value to the world, but still don't have the financial backing to get proper licenses, which again is changing the way of intellectual property. And sure, the rules of intellectual property have been set up before YouTube, and sure, it's not right for the YouTube community to think they're above these rules, but at the same time, a lot of creators wouldn't be able to add value to the world if they had to pay for a bunch of licenses, including my own. But again, it's very important for us all to see both sides of the DMCA issue. I myself am not an innocent man. I've used others' work many times without crediting them. It was never with bad intent, but either way, using someone else's work that isn't royalty free and without an agreement isn't fair for that creator, and we should all agree that they have the right to be mad if they choose to. I mean, after all, they were the person that put the resources to create that work. Regarding changing the DMCA laws, I think that trying to change the law will only slow down those who abuse the DMCA, which, don't get me wrong, would be a great thing to do, but those who abuse the DMCA, meaning send false claims trying to make a little fast cash, are what we call assholes. And assholes have existed since the beginning of man and will find a way, always find a way, to be in their natural form of holery. No, but seriously, get a nice lawyer, sue the false claimants, and make some great case law to them. Because, after all, false claims are against the copyright law and they could face some serious punishments. But as far as my solution to the issue, I find that in most cases, new school creators and old school creators have a very different meaning for transformative. But what's important to note is that behind every takedown notice, there's a creator. I believe that if we new school creators want to get on the same page as old school creators and vice versa, we need to form some sort of united creators, a United Nations style panel discussion that over time will help us all understand different perspectives from all creative angles. Together, united as creators with the purpose to create. I know that I make a lot of jokes, but this one is serious because I'm sure that What? I can't even say his name? Whatever. As the talented creator that he is, I'm sure that he has a lot to teach us about his perspective as to why he claims anything that, I guess, even mentions his name. Wait, hold on guys, hold on. Don't get the wrong idea. To anyone that's probably saying too soon, I actually wrote this joke before Prince passed away. It was very untimely. RIP to Prince, very talented creator. Okay, back to the video. And you know guys, this is a very deeply connected issue that I really don't have a better solution for other than trying to learn from other creators' perspectives with an old-fashioned honest conversation. And to those of you laughing, thinking that my solution is weak or won't solve anything, my counter to that is this. How do world leaders try and reach world peace? Oh gosh, I am so glad to be done with this episode. Oh, I'm just surprised that actually
Mind blown!
Wow, I'm really glad that we got to the bottom of this. YouTube and the DMCA is a deeply connected issue, and when it's all said and done, YouTube is only a user-generated video search engine, and as a creator, their only duty to me really is to give me the best tools so that I can then give my audience the best viewing experience. Man, what a crazy two-piece curiosity meal this has been, huh? I am super exhausted from this topic and I'm ready to move on. But before we do, today I have one simple question for you. Do you think that YouTube is doing the right thing with their copyright claim system? You can cast your vote by clicking that question in the top right corner. It should be there, and it also shows live updates. Guys, researching the law is the worst. These last couple episodes took me 4 full weeks just to put it all together. I want to thank Mr. Ryan for his help. Please plug your stuff, Mr. Ryan.
Sure, yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter at Mr. Ryan Morrison, and I actually have a merger going out soon with my firm. I'm very excited to announce in the next day or two. So you'll check us out online.
Boom goes the dynamite. I hope you guys enjoyed these episodes, but whatever the case may be, remember to always feed your curiosity.
She walks to the sea. She looks straight ahead, not at him. Tall and thin and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking. And when she passes, he smiles, but she doesn't see.